It's possible that NCIS Season 22 provided the narrative that Alden Parker needed to solidify his position as the head of MCRT in NCIS Season 22. Episode 6, the crew deals with a failed kidnapping attempt involving Melinda Martin, one of Washington's most prominent benefactors. But when Melinda's and Parker's pasts unexpectedly resurface, things take a turn for the worst. She discloses that she has ties to the Kansas City mob as the team rushes to solve the case before Melinda is put in any more danger than she currently is. The mob boss's granddaughter is her daughter. In addition to introducing Carla, the mob's head, as a possible season antagonist in NCIS Season 22, the episode offers an inside look into Parker's work before joining the MCRT and his personal relationship to the lethal criminal organization. Parker discovers that Melinda's baby's father is Carla's son, who passed away 20 years ago when she was still pregnant. As the NCIS team looks into Melinda's relationship with Carla, Parker admits that while he was working for the FBI, he had first pursued the Kansas City mob, even forming a special task team to apprehend Carla. However, Carla always escaped after a confidential informant conveniently died, despite the fact that they got very close a few times. In NCIS Season 22, Episode 6, Carla also escapes after one of her crew members is held accountable for the offenses related to Melinda's case. Parker is already accustomed to Carla leaving, but the MCRT is stunned. Parker indicates that he is still working to bring Carla to justice by posting her mug photo in his office and promising to keep an eye on her. Little is known about Parker's past before he joined the MCRT at NCIS, despite the fact that he is still a popular team leader. When questioned about it in Season 22, Parker denied having a horrific recollection of a little girl called Lily, claiming he did not recall the incident. This was revealed in the NCIS Season 21 finale. Although additional information regarding Parker's FBI experience before NCIS has been made public in Season 22, other things remain unclear. Parker may have a fantastic character journey if the season adversary has strong links to his history. Parker is a reclusive guy who would rather remain in the present, but learning more about his history might help us understand him and his life before joining NCIS. The one thing Parker lacks to progress from being an excellent character to a terrific one is a character development. Parker's Kansas City mob connection, the NCIS Season 22 arc he needs. Special Agent Alden Parker has always been a steady, pragmatic leader since stepping in as the head of the NCIS Major Case Response Team, MCRT. Despite his layered personality, fans have often felt his storylines lack the emotional depth or high-stakes drama that defied his predecessors like Gibbs, Spinazzo, and Ziva. However, a potential Kansas City mob connection could give Parker the gripping personal arc he needs in NCIS Season 22, infusing the show with fresh intrigue and showcasing his character's untapped potential. Chapter 1: A Cryptic Message. The story begins in Washington, D.C., as the MCRT investigates a seemingly routine case involving the murder of a Navy contractor. The victim, Raymond Ray Jansen, was found dead in a secluded alley, clutching a bloodied envelope addressed to Parker. The team is baffled. Why would a murder victim leave a message for Parker, someone he seemingly had no connection with? Inside the envelope is a single piece of paper with one word scrawled across it: Kansas. The team dives into Jansen's background, but finds no obvious link to Kansas or Parker. Parker's uncharacteristically reserved demeanor doesn't go unnoticed by his team, particularly by McGee, who senses there's more to this case than Parker is letting on. "Boss, you okay?" McGee asks cautiously as they comb through evidence. "I'm fine, Tim," Parker replies curtly, brushing off a concern. But his tightly clenched jaw tells another story. Chapter 2: Secrets from the Past. When the team traces Jansen's recent activities, they discover he had been in Kansas City 2 weeks prior. Parker's unease deepens, and flashbacks reveal why. Decades ago, as a young FBI agent fresh out of Quantico, Parker worked undercover to infiltrate the notorious Kansas City mob. It was one of his first big assignments, but it ended disastrously when his cover was blown. The mob retaliated by targeting people close to him, leaving a trail of broken relationships and unhealed scars. Jansen's death feels like a message, a ghost from Parker's past resurfacing. Parker decides to come clean to Director Vance about his connection to Kansas City, insisting it's critical to the case. Vance, who has seen Parker's dedication and integrity firsthand, agrees but warns him not to let personal vendettas cloud his judgment. "I've been here long enough to know when someone's fighting demons," Vance says, his voice steady. "Just make sure those demons don't fight back." Chapter 3: The Mob Resurfaces. As the team follows the trail to Kansas City, they uncover a web of corruption involving Navy supply chain contracts and a Kansas City mob. Parker's FBI file becomes crucial to connecting the dots, but accessing it requires some finesse. Knight and Torres break into an old FBI archive, under the guise of conducting a joint operation, uncovering files that detail Parker's undercover work as Elliot Grant, a pseudonym he used while infiltrating the mob. The files reveal that Parker's key target back then was a mob lieutenant named Vince Morty. Morty was infamous for his ruthlessness and his ability to evade justice, always staying one step ahead of law enforcement. To Parker's horror, the team discovers Morty is still active and has expanded his operations, now using military contracts as a cover for illegal activities. Chapter 4: A Personal Stake. Parker becomes increasingly involved in the case, but his personal connection to Morty raises questions among his team. Knight confronts him during a late-night strategy session. "You're too close to this, Parker," she says bluntly. "What aren't you telling us?" Parker sighs, knowing he can't keep his team in the dark any longer. He reveals how his undercover operation led to Morty ordering a hit on Parker's then-fiancée, Rachel. Though Rachel survived the attack, their relationship didn't. Parker's guilt over dragging her into his dangerous world has haunted him ever since. "This isn't just another case," Parker admits, his voice heavy with emotion. "It's a chance to right a wrong I've been carrying for 25 years. His vulnerability strikes a chord with the team. Even Torres, who initially questioned Parker's leadership, begins to see him in a new light. Chapter 5: The Sting. The team devises a plan to take down Morty and his operation, but it requires Parker to go undercover once again. The idea of stepping back into the role of Elliot Grant stirs old fears, but Parker knows it's the only way to get close to Morty. With the help of Casey and McGee, Parker updates his cover identity, crafting a backstory that paints him as a disgruntled former FBI agent turned criminal consultant. The transformation is seamless, and Parker slips back into his old persona with a mix of dread and determination. Meeting Morty for the first time in decades is a tense moment. The mobster, now older but no less menacing, doesn't recognize Parker immediately. However, Morty's paranoia makes the undercover operation a constant tightrope walk. One slip, and the entire mission could crumble. Chapter 6: Betrayal and Revelation. Just as the team closes in on solid evidence to dismantle Morty's operation, a betrayal from within NCIS threatens to derail everything. An informant within the Navy, secretly on Morty's payroll, leaks critical details about the sting. The team scrambles to salvage the operation, but Parker is left exposed. Morty confronts Parker, piecing together his true identity. The mobster's anger is palpable as he recounts the chaos Parker brought into his life years ago. "You ruined me, Grant," Morty sneers, using Parker's old alias. "Now it's my turn." Parker narrowly escapes an ambush, thanks to Torres and Knight's timely intervention. The near-death experience forces Parker to confront his lingering guilt and the dangerous line he walks in his pursuit of justice. Chapter 7: The Final Showdown. The team regroups for a final push to take down Morty. With Vance's blessing, they coordinate a large-scale operation involving the FBI and local law enforcement. Parker insists on being part of the takedown, despite Vance's concerns for his safety. The climax unfolds in a dramatic raid on Morty's compound, a high-stakes operation filled with shootouts and narrow escapes. Parker comes face to face with Morty in a tense standoff. Their exchange is charged with years of unresolved animosity, but Parker manages to apprehend Morty without succumbing to the temptation of revenge. "You're done ruining lives," Parker says as he cuffs Morty. This time, justice wins. Chapter 8: Closure and Growth. With Morty behind bars and his operation dismantled, Parker finally finds a sense of closure. He visits Rachel, now happily remarried, to apologize for the pain his choices caused her. Their conversation is bittersweet but healing, allowing Parker to let go of the guilt that has weighed him down for so long. Back in DC, the team reflects on the case. Parker's leadership and vulnerability have earned him their unwavering respect, cementing his place as the head of the MCRT. As the season ends, Parker sits alone in his office, looking at an old photograph from his FBI days. For the first time in years, he feels a sense of peace. The Kansas City mob connection may have been a painful chapter of his past, but it has also given him the strength to move forward, and the arc fans have been waiting for.